What we're making here is a self-wicking tub out of a protein mineral tub that the ranchers have. They're excess to them after they get through with them. They don't need them. They'll sell them to you for anywhere from $2 to $5. The Amish, they get $20 a piece. But anyway, and you drill one hole 5 inches up. Where'd I drill my hole at? Right there, 1 inch, one hole 5 inches up. Then you take 7 of these cans that you get at a nursing home or the cafeteria at the school, and you put one hole right up here close to the top on the sides. I'd rather not put it in the top, I'd rather put it on the side. Then you put 7 of these cans around the outside edge. You put your pipe that you've cut at an angle, the bottom end of it, so water can pour out faster. You put it close to that hole, and that's going to be your fill tube. We really don't want to put, after we get them to growing, we really don't want to water from the top. We want that top to stay kind of dry. We want those plants to learn to go down there to get the water down at the bottom. Remember, you've got your water and your food and your air right there for it. The only thing these plants like is the sunshine, and the good Lord give them that from above. Okay, then we take this ground cover. This is a 3 by 4. It doesn't have to be but much over about 3 by 3.5. But anyway, we put this down in this tub, and we punch this down in the middle of this tub, and we put this, fill this full of potting soil right down in the bottom. That's our wick that's going to suck our water. It should be standing in water. It'll suck that water up to our plant. Then we just push this on down in the inside here, finish filling it with potting soil. Now let me stress, don't use dirt out of the garden. It's heavy soil will not work. It needs to be a loose potting soil. We'll get one of those bags over and show you here in a minute how loose it is. But anyway, fill this up with potting soil. We have a couple of fertilizers that we put in here pre-plant, like Sustain. It's a 464. It's organic. We put a half a cup of that in here, and we put a 1/4 of a cup of sea mineral, which is nothing but evaporated salt water that we use for the sea mineral. Got 90-something different trace minerals. And by the way, I have samples of that over there that everybody gets to take one home. Don't feel bad about it. But, and then I also have we have a Nature Source, which is a liquid fertilizer. I've got some little bottles of it. You can take one of them home. You use it 1 teaspoon per gallon. And I have you a recipe over there to take with you. But anyway, we fill this full of potting soil and plant your lettuce, your tomatoes, squash, cucumbers. And by the way, if you forget some of this, you can go on YouTube and type in Gardening with Leon, and we'll show you how to do this again. Okay, now if you don't want to go pick up those cans, we have another way of doing this. This is a little more expensive. Same deal, you got your hole 5 inches up. Only hole in the can is the one 5-inch hole. We take some of this 6-inch French drain line, and I'll stop here and tell you a little bit. Now, if you don't want to buy this, this is about $1.50 a piece, each one of these. You have to buy 100 feet to get it. Now, if you'd rather use 4-inch, just drill your hole 3 inches up. You just won't hold as much water. You'll still have the same program. You just have to water a little more often. With this 6-inch and a 5-inch hole, you can get by in the wintertime going 2 weeks without watering. In the summertime, you can get by for about nearly a week. If you have a 6-inch, you get 10 days out of it, unless you have a big plant in here. But anyway, put 2 of these in the bottom. Face them towards the hole. Here's your pipe cut off an angle. You set it there close to your hole right there. Then you take this here. Here's a little 3 by 3 right here we'll use. All right, that'd be a 3 by 4. Let me get it 3 by 4 like it ought to be. Just got the wrong one in the wrong can, didn't I? Now, instead of being the wick going to be in the center, now the wick is on each side. Let me get this in there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. David knows how to do this a lot better than I do, so I should be letting him teach this. Anyway, we're going to put soil on both sides, here and here. Still keeping it out of our water capacity. And then we just go ahead and fill it up with potting soil. We get up here about 3 inches from the top. We open up one of these little packages of fertilizer and scatter it in here. And then go ahead and put more potting soil till you get up to the top. And there you go. You can plant your tomatoes, your squash, 2 tomatoes, 1 squash, about 3 cucumber vines, or you can put about 10 lettuce, 10 spinach. Here's some lettuce. And by the way, to grow more crops of lettuce, what you do, you start your lettuce seed in these little pots like this, see? And then you can take them out and transplant them into here, and it just takes 3 weeks from this stage up to that stage there, is just 3 weeks. And that way, when you pull that crop out, you can have another crop growing, stick it right back in there, and that way every 3 weeks you're pulling off a crop of lettuce. This is carrots, that's lettuce. Okay, now we'll drop down to these strawberries. This is some folding containers that fold up, that the produce comes in. And see, this folds down like into this right here. And let's see if I can. We have these for sale for $2 a piece, whether short or tall, same price. I'm gonna show you how to make a self-wicking tub out of these now. So what we do, we drill 2 holes in this box. That's a 4-inch hole, 4 1/4 inch hole, I'm sorry, 4 1/4 inch hole. Then we take 2 of these little 4-inch pots. This is going to be our wick to go down in our water. We're going to push these right down in there. Now we take this little one and we line it with plastic. Takes about a 24 inch by 36 inch. Just lay it in there, fill it full of water. Just set this tray on top of that. Fill those 2 little pots full of potting soil, and then come right on up here and fill this full. And this is what you have. We potted these about a month ago. You can see these strawberries here. It's already, there's one that got a bloom on it. We had some in those tubs, I think it's got red berries on them. But what this is, you get aeration through these cracks. You've got your self-wicking water. It waters 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to worry about whether it's too dry or too wet. It's going to take care of itself. You've got your fertilizer in the bottom. You've got your water down there, and then you have your air coming through the sides. If you notice, I put a newspaper on top of this. This is where we do them individually. You can just put that newspaper on there to kind of keep your berries clean when it comes out and put those runners out and puts the berries out. Of course, that'll compost into your soil, you know, for next year you stir it up and go again. What we do, you know, as we get older, we can't get down on the ground, you know, and work down there where, you know, it's hard to get down there and raise something there as you get a little older. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be. But anyway, so, you know, you can use a table, or you can use this styrofoam, blocks, something like that. We're going to put a row of these down through the greenhouse and set these on here like this, doubled up, and just pick them right here like into this. We're even going to do tomatoes like that this year. We're going to put 2 tomato plants, 2 tomato plants, 2 tomato plants, all the way down a 100-foot house, and tie these up on strings to pick the tomatoes off of them. So we're just trying to show you some easy way of gardening that grass can't get to you from, if you garden in the ground, grass and weeds can just grow to you so fast. So this is just a simplified way of growing your garden. As you get older, you don't have to get on the ground, don't have to fight the grass. We teach these seminars at our place in Kingston every Sunday, starting the last Sunday of February, every Sunday through the 4th of July. And you just call in, make an appointment. We go at 10:30, I think it is, 11, 2, and 5, I believe it is. And anyway, we teach 3 classes a Sunday, so you can come and see how this, and we start in February, because that's when we will put out our first crop of tomatoes, is the last week of February. And you can come and see how we do that in the ground and in the containers. And you know, pansies, you can grow pansies in those tubs the same way, or in these boxes, doesn't make any difference. This will last you about a week of water in the wintertime. In the summertime, it'll last you about 3 days or 4 days. But it's a lot better than growing just in the ground or in a pot with no water holding capacity. Okay, any questions? You fill this up with soil right in here. David, come get me a sack of potting soil and let's fill this up. Okay, Got your little pipe, half this long, set here in the corner, yes. And then you just put a funnel in here and pour it in here. And let me tell you, while he's filling this with soil so you can kind of see what he's doing. Baby, you need my knife? Huh? You got one open? Okay, pour it right in there. Let me get you a little fertilizer here to show you. See here, we poke it down in them 2 little pots, and that's the way it's sitting down in that bottom. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna put that up there. That should be cut off about that high. Yeah, go ahead and fill it full, David, total. Now this is enough that I have in this little sack that I'll give you a sample of. This is the sea mineral and this is the sustain. This is enough for one of these tubs or one of these boxes, okay? We're gonna show you what you do. We'll come up about halfway full. Come on a little more, Davey. That's good. Hang on just a moment. Whoa, hold just a moment. That's good, wait a minute, okay. All right, we're gonna scatter this in here like this is a pre-plant. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and fill it up with soil so you can kind of see how we do it. Yeah, in strawberries, I put 6 plants in there. I was gonna come back and set a couple of pots right here, little 1-gallon pots right here, and set 2 more strawberries in it, but I didn't ever do it. I mean, it's just, that's gonna be filled up time it gets through anyway this spring. You can put your little piece of newspaper or something over this and keep that from going out that hole. Put one down at the other end. That's good, David. And that's the way it'll look like, just like that right there. I'm gonna leave the ends loose a little bit so you can kind of see, but that show you a little better. Water it in, get it wet. Now you gotta get wet. Put water on it to get it saturated first. Then start putting your water in here till it runs out the side of the box and you know it's full. And you're good there for a week or 10 days. The reason I stress using high tunnels is because their seasons are changing. I don't know whether you realize it or not, but back yonder 57 years ago when I started in business down at Kingston, we had warm weather from about the 10th of April till down to about in the early part of November. Now then, it can get cold all the way down to late as May the 16th. We've had tomatoes freeze down below Kingston there. 4 years ago, May the 16th, it froze and killed the tomato plants. And you know, we're having some freezes now before Halloween, middle of October. So we've shortened up our growing season. So to extend our growing seasons, we use these high tunnels. Now this is just a little one to show you what they look like and everything. You know, every one of them will have a door on each end, usually thing, except this little one, I just put one door on one end. But anyway, this is clear plastic. The problem with these high tunnels, in the summertime, they get hot. You gotta vent them or either take the plastic off, and believe it or not, most people are getting to where they really don't want to take the plastic off. They say, nah, it's too much trouble to take the plastic on, put a shade cloth on. So we want it just like this, leave it year round. So that's what we're trying to figure out, a way to grow in a house. This will give you about a 7 or 8 degree temperature from outside. In other words, it's warmer in here than it is out there. Y'all believe it? It would be if I had plastic on it. But anyway, this plastic comes up over the top and all the way to the top on the bottom is what we usually do. But now then, I'm showing you a new vent that most people haven't seen me put on. This is we built this house today, I'll tell you. We started this morning, 8 o'clock, and we built this house. Now then, I'm gonna show you this vent that we've got on here to help. It's not automated, it's manual. You can put a automation on it if you want to, but we try to keep it as simple and cheap as we can. Now our plastic goes from that bar up there over here and down, and then another plastic starts right here and goes down here. I was going to have this covered with plastic when I come up today, but I sent one of the boys out to measure, and he got a little bigger measurement. He wouldn't go in the back door of that trailer, so I couldn't hold it up here with plastic on it, so I just brought it like this. But you can vision plastic from here down to the ground, plastic from up there all the way down. the hot air, when you warm air up, it automatically rises. And it goes right out that vent right there. To make you a place where air can come in, you raise this plastic up. It's just loose. It's not. It's tied here with rope, but you pull this plastic up. The cool air comes in here. It warms up and it goes out that right there, just like a chimney. We've got a lot of these vents on houses down at Noble Foundation here with Steve Upson. They're a double vent that's set on the top like that, and both sides open up. I don't know why we come up with this one, but we just keep trying to improve some way. And we hope this does. It may not. It's a little simpler to build, Steve. A little simpler to build. I don't know if it's as good or better or as good as the other one that you have at your place or not, but this is what we're going to put on one of your houses down there like that to show. In your houses, this is only about 7 or 8 degree temperature inside than it is out there. We took tomatoes down to 16 degrees 5 years ago, 16 degrees and 10 inches of snow. And what we did, we had our tomatoes in the ground on February the 25th. March the 5th, it came 10 inches of snow, 16 degree weather. Tomato plants are only about this tall in the ground. We had them in the ground, and we made a little hoop up over them. Probably, Jim, did you teach that today in your class or anything about the little covers, the little row covers?
I didn't. I have the stuff to show.
Okay, you're going to show. But anyway, we just put that little row cover over them, and that's another 7 or 8 degrees. So now then, with one layer and this layer, now you've got 2 layers. It'll be about 14 degrees above whatever it is outside. So if it's 16 degrees outside, 14, now you're up to about 30. So what we did, we put another cover a little higher up over that arch up over it, put plastic over it. Now you got 1, 2, 3. 3/8 is 24. Added to your 16 outside, now you're up to 40. And that's the way we got our tomatoes by that year. So without any heat, no heaters in the house.